Guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm kind of tired, so my voice is not going to be too exciting, but I'll still make some funny jokes. As you can see, I'm reusing a video because all my files are being crashed and something, and I don't have enough storage, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just using this video twice, but it should be good enough. You guys are still watching me play rip off, whatever it's called. Today we're going to be looking at a girl who has like skin. That means like this skin where if you touch it, it burns. Like she gets like a huge sunburn on her skin, it bruises, and it's like she punched her in the arm, except you put your little finger on it. And we're gonna see her relationship, and I know it's probably fake because it sounds like one of those like, I fell into the pool and I almost died because my skin can't have pool water. Even though most of them are fake.
Hey, I'm Christine, and my classmates have always been scared of me. It's not because I'm a bully, but it's because of my skin disease. My body parts are often swollen and covered in bruises. That's why many kids called me the Blue Hunchback of Notre Dame. The only person who defended me was Paul. He didn't mind how I looked, and that's why he asked me to become his girlfriend. Of course I said yes.
Right off the bat, I feel like this is so cringy. It's just one of those, have you guys ever heard of Wonder? It's like that, but more cringy. Oh my gosh, everybody bullies me, everybody's scared of me because I look different, and then one person finally makes my life way better. Except it's more cringy because it's with a boy, and it's like one of those love stories. But it's so weird. Like, look at this guy. He looks literally like my cousin. Yeah, my cousin is like dating a tomato that gets more raw and raw. No, a banana, because she's skinny. She doesn't even have those, you know what? She doesn't even have those melons.
But there was one problem. His parents. When they saw my skin all swollen and blue, they thought I was a freak and asked, "What's wrong with you?" I said I have skin disease called chronic idiopathic hives, and whenever someone or something touches me, I'll have an allergic-like reaction to it. But don't worry, it's not contagious. His mom responded, "My son won't date a freak like you. He deserves a pretty girl that won't embarrass him in public."
Okay, if I was the dad in that situation, I would totally smack my wife and be like, shut up. Okay, she might be a freak, but have you ever seen those love stories? That could get us paid. Paper. But no, she's like, first impression, you're a freak. He needs to date a nice boy. Nice boy. Like, while they were walking in, did like he touch her or something? She should not have those bruises on. Like, they should be ready and be like, we don't have, like, to get all the bruises off, and then they're just gonna think she's a normal girl. But nope, they keep the bruises on. But like, if I was the mother in that situation, I would accept her. Jeez, you're mean and you're fat.
In the face. But Paul came to my defense and screamed, "Mom, you're so fat. Why don't you care about your own problems first?" When we got into Paul's room, he said, "I don't care about my parents' opinion. I love you, and that's all that matters." And of course, I loved Paul back. But the next time his mom saw me, she asked, "If you have kids, will they look as monstrous as you?" Then she put her finger on my forehead and pushed me back. A few minutes later, I was left with a small bruise that stayed for several days.
Okay, I would call 911 in that situation. She's literally, a mother is abusing you. That's not right at all. An adult is abusing you. Why are you talking about this story? When you were a teenager, you should have called 911. She would have been arrested. You and the boy become married, happily ever after. None of this would have happened. None of this. But no, you're dumb. You're dumb. You dumb.
Of course, I was too scared to go back to Paul's home. Instead, we started seeing each other inside a forest next to our school. There we had total privacy and could do whatever we wanted. We often kissed so much that my lips turned blue. And one time, he pressed his hand against my breast with so much force that it turned into one big blue bruise for the next 2 weeks.
This is not even based on the video, but like, now when boys say they have blue balls, she had blue melons.
We were as happy as one could be, until Paul told me that his parents were sending him away to live with his aunt in a different state. My heart broke into a million pieces. I've been so sure we would stay together forever. But that was just a teenage.
I'm just a kid and life is a nightmare. She's a teenager, they're not gonna get married at a young age. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, I feel like this is really just weird so far. So what you're telling me is a guy is just in love with a girl who, if he touches her, she gets bruises. So how does this work?
Dream. Paul said, "You know I love you. I always will. But it's not worth it. My parents make my life hell because I'm dating you, and it's better if we just break up." I responded, "It's okay, and I hope you will be happy in your new life." I tried to not look sad because I didn't want to make it harder for him. But after he said goodbye, I sat down under a tree and cried late into the night. I knew if it wasn't for my skin disease, Paul and I would have stayed a couple. But life isn't always fair. And after Paul was gone, the other kids in school started making fun of me again. I was so happy when I finally graduated. I wanted to start all over, and that's why I moved to New York. There I studied economics for 3 years and even dated a new guy. But whenever my skin had a strong allergic reaction, I could see the disgust in his face. One night we slept next to each other, and while I was sleeping, he wrote his name into my skin with his fingernail. It wasn't long before it was swollen so much that I woke up. I wanted to scream when I looked into a mirror and saw what he'd done. He thought it was funny, but I didn't.
This kind of just reminded me of Sasuke and Sakura, except for some reason Sakura wants to be Naruto. It's kind of like the season end, except Naruto still likes her. I don't get it. Also, this girl's life is going, like, downhill. Like, her allergic reaction in school, she got bullied. I mean, even when she's graduated, people still make fun of her.
So I broke up with him and tried to focus more on college. But studying was never easy. Some days my body was completely covered in hives, bruises, and swellings. They were itching so much that all I could do was lie in bed and cry. I barely graduated, but still managed to get a job at an investment bank. It paid $40,000 a year, which wasn't much, but barely enough for New York. Unfortunately, my skin disease got so bad that I couldn't go to work anymore and got fired. That was the darkest moment of my life. My skin was hurting like hell, and I'd lost my job. I was about to give up on life, so instead of finding a new job, I moved into a homeless shelter. All I did was lie in bed, depressed and scratching my skin.
Like I said, this girl's, life is so downhill right now. She has nothing. She's at a homeless shelter. She can't get a job. She's probably depressed, and oh my gosh. And the only thing she's thinking about is love. Just pure love. It's honestly kind of sad. This is kind of a sad story, even though I know it's fake.
Finally, I wondered, is there anything I want to do before I die? The answer was yes. I wanted to see Paul one last time. I wanted to see if he was happy. So I tracked him down and found out that he was working for a consultancy firm in Washington. Then I took a bus and went to surprise him.
Okay, so you were just in a homeless shelter. So how do you have enough money for a bus ticket? Like, you're in a homeless shelter, you're depressed. I don't even know how you got a computer. Like, are the homeless shelter people, giving her free money or something? Like, geez, I want to move to New York. Whenever I'm poor, I just want to go there, make millions from a homeless shelter.
Of course, I was nervous about meeting him again. He'd done well in life, but I'd failed at everything. I was afraid of his judgment, but I was also desperate to see him again. So I waited in front of his office building. When he came out and saw me, he cried, "Oh my God, Christine! It's so nice to see you. How are you doing?" I said, "I'm good. I just wanted to catch up with an old friend." He said, "Sure," and we went to a restaurant.
Okay, where is she coming up with this money? They got cheesecake from probably a fancy restaurant, and she's coming up with this money. It's probably the boyfriend, but maybe not, because, probably while they were eating, he didn't pay for it, so probably he thought, oh, she's going to pay for it. She looks nice, and, oh, I think that's her Lambo over there. But no, she, for some reason, has enough money for a bus. So, yeah.
There he told me about his job and how he had to work 80 hours a week. But when he asked me how I was doing, I blushed and looked away. He said, "Come on, I'm your friend. You can tell me anything." So I told him how I got fired and lived in a homeless shelter because of my skin condition. I even told him I was depressed and rarely got out of bed. He said, "I'm really sorry. I'd let you live at my place, but I have a girlfriend and she wouldn't like it." My heart dropped, but I played it cool and said, "No problem. I'll just move back in with my parents." When we said goodbye to each other, I had tears in my eyes. It was so nice to see Paul again. I still loved him as much as the day we broke up. In another life, we would have gotten married and lived happily ever after. But that wasn't my destiny. I ended up moving back into my mom's home. Her and Dad had just gotten divorced, and she was happy to have some company. But just a few days later, I got a message from Paul that said, "Hey Christine, when I saw you last week, all my feelings for you came back. I can't stop thinking about you. I just broke up with my girlfriend, and I'd love you to come back to Washington. You can move in here right now." Wow, my head spun around. It felt like a gift from God. A little hope in a hopeless life.
Okay, that's all I'm gonna do for the rest of the video. I just want to explain some other things that's gonna happen. So, he breaks up with her. He breaks up with his girlfriend. They get back together after she lived at his mom's house, which, by the way, she lived at her mom's house. Which, by the way, I feel bad for the mom because, like, she got divorced. She did get divorced, by the way. And then it's a long story. And then the summary of it is that they're getting married and they have to get the parents, and the parents are mad. So the mom's being a jerk, brings in another girl, and is like, "You should date him, my son." She's like, "Yes, I will do that." She's like a robot. And then they get married. She gets pregnant, and then she's a bad mom because she still has depression. So she sits her, and she's a stay-home mom. She doesn't even take care of her daughter, which is actually kind of sad. I don't really know how to end this, but thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, smash, and now smash the bell button. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.